In this video, I'm going to walk you through the complete interface of DaVinci's Cut tab. So coming across from Final Cut Pro, it took me a while to get familiar with the Cut tab in DaVinci. I was more used to the Edit tab, which has got similarities to Final Cut. So coming across, it took me some time to get up to speed, get familiar, and really benefit from the cut page in DaVinci Resolve. If you're coming across from another video editing software, it might seem a bit alien to have this cut page as well as the edit page. They're similar, but there are some subtle differences, and the cut page is more for when you're sort of doing a rough cut. You just want to get through your footage quickly. You just want to sort of quickly cut it. You're not refining it. You're not putting together an edit. You're just cutting through and making selects of your footage. So that's where it comes in really powerful, and it can really speed up your workflow. When you pair it with the cut page, your complete workflow will be super fast. So let's get into the cut page in DaVinci Resolve. Okay, so let's just get familiar with the interface of the cut tab. So you'll see here on the left side, we have our media pool. This media pool is referencing this part of DaVinci here. Anything that we bring in from our hard drive here will be showing in the media pool. And this is just referenced on the left here. These are the clips. This is the footage that we brought in. And we have the same functionality on the top here. So we have the list view, we have a thumbnail view, which is quite nice to get organized. We have the metadata view, and then we can sort our media here. So for example, if I want to do sort it by clip name, by the date and time, we can even do custom now in DaVinci. So I can actually move my clips around like this and just sort them manually and just have like a custom order. I can select these, I can move them down. So this functionality has just come into DaVinci in DaVinci 20. I can do snap to grid. So when I move it, they snap in place, kind of like the Finder on your Mac. So it just gives you a bit more control, a bit more freedom of your shots. Let's just go back to sort by clip name. So another way we can view the media in the cut tab is the strip view. So this one here. So this will just give us a high level view of each clip. And it's just a really great way to quickly have a look at the shot, see what's happening, what's been going on, and you can see it's all in order from clip. So this is great if you just want to quickly have a look. Maybe there was a shot you had in mind or something that you remember from the shoot. So you can just quickly see here, okay, maybe it was this one. And we can go on to we can select it. And what's going to happen is it's going to view on our previewer here. So now if I scrub through, we can start getting a preview of the shot. Another way to scrub through is the bar here on the bottom. So I can also scrub through and preview the clip. So that's great if you just want to have a quick high level view of your media. And then we've got our list view here. If I come across here, so we've got source clip, source tape. So the difference between these are currently we're on source clip. So we're viewing one clip at a time in the preview window here. If I select source tape, what's going to happen is we're going to have this menu. Now, if I scrub through this, it's showing me every single shot, every piece of footage that I've imported on this one timeline. So this is great because you get a really quick high level view of the footage that you shot. It'll give you the time here. So we have 40 minutes of footage. If I change it back to source clip, you can see, it's going through each shot individually and it's giving us the time of each clip. So that's 7 seconds, 26 seconds. So you get a real view of the length of the clip. Source tape, we get everything. So say we have multiple folders from multiple days of shooting for the project. If we have a look here in our media pool, we have the 3 folders with all the media. If I go to the source tape, now what it's going to do is it's going to show me every single piece of footage from all of those days in this one strip view here at the bottom. So, and it doesn't matter how much footage you bring into your media pool. If you select source tape, it's going to show you everything on one big timeline. And it's just a really quick way to view everything at once. Allows you to make selects really fast. But for this example, I'm just going to delete those other 2 folders. We're just going to focus on one folder so we're not overwhelmed with media. And then here we have timeline view. Let's go down, let's go through the clips and pick one to bring it into our timeline. Okay, let's bring in, this is a nice shot standing on the cliffs. Let's bring this into our timeline. Okay, so we have 3 options. We can insert the whole clip, which is the video and audio. Or if we just want the video, we can select this. Or if we just want the audio, we can select this. For now, I'll just bring in the whole clip. We can just drag it in and there we go. Now we've got it in our timeline. If I go up to the right here, we've got the inspector. We can zoom in, zoom out. We got the position, rotate it, just undo that. And then we got the pitch and we got the yaw. This one is great because you can actually just flip in DaVinci just with a switch of a button. We got smart reframe. I'll talk about the smart reframe in another video. I can do a whole video on that one. Cropping from the left, from the right, soft soften the crop, stuff like that. Dynamic zoom. So dynamic zoom, I'll do a full video on that one as well. Composite. We have speed change, stabilization, and this one was all shot handheld. So if I want to stabilize, I can do that right here in the inspector. Change the lens correction. So if you're shooting on something, maybe a very wide lens or something like a GoPro, sometimes you've got this distortion on it. So you can analyze it here, and then you can adjust also manually here. And then the retiming and scaling. This is good when you slow down the clip. So for example, say I shot this at 60 frames a second, I play it back at 30. Now, if I want to slow the clip down even more, you're going to get, I'll show you quickly, you're going to get frame skipping. So what this feature allows you to do is it sort of fills in the empty frames with this function here, optical flow. So if you want to slow it down, change speed. So I change speed and I slow the clip down here to 10%. So now when you play it back, you're going to see you've got very choppy footage on the clip because you're missing all the frames in between. Now, if I change this to optical flow, now we have this nice smooth playback. So DaVinci will do the work and fill in those missing frames for you. Pretty good. This is actually a really powerful feature if you want to slow your footage down, but you didn't shoot it in the right frame rate. So you can see here, I'm going through the footage, but it's all log footage. So what I can quickly do in my color tab, we'll go into this in a much more detail in the next lessons. But if I just go over to the color tab, click on the timeline, Option S to add in a new node, and then I'll just do a color space transform. So I'll quickly convert the S log footage to Rec 709. Convert it. So now if I just toggle that on and off, you can see that it's been converted to Rec 709. Because I've applied this to the whole timeline, if I go back, everything that I bring into my timeline now, and you can see it here, that the color and fusion effects are turned on. If I want to turn those off, for now we'll keep them on so we can preview our footage with some color in it. It's just more fun to preview your footage with some color grading so you can kind of see how it's going to look. Obviously we'll do more color grading in the color tab, but for now it's enough to make our selects. We have our mixer, so this is to make any audio adjustments. I don't usually make audio adjustments here, but I'll show you the Fairlight tab in future episodes, and this is where we'll get into the detail of audio mixing. But for now, we can just turn that off. We have our full screen, so if we want to preview the footage on our full screen, we can just quickly enter that. I've got Command F as the shortcut for full screen. And finally here we've got quick export. So if I just want to quickly get something exported, I can do it right here in the cut tab, and it'll be exported on our project settings. So at the moment I've got it at 1080, 30 frames a second. You know, for example, if I have my project settings at say 4K, save. If I go to export now, it's just going to take the project settings and export it quickly based on what way you've got it set up. Let's come down here, same functionality as our media pull. On previewing the media, we can skip to the last frame, skip to the first frame, play, stop, and then this is a loop playback as well. So if we're just playing the clip, it'll just keep looping. And then we've got this one, which allows us to scrub through as well. Now, this function here, it's fast review. So this is actually great. If I go to the source tape view up here, and now we can see we've got all our clips on one long timeline. If I press this, it's going to play through the timeline in a faster speed. So the longer clips, it'll play them back faster, and then the shorter clips, it'll play them back slower. So you can see here, it's changing the playback speed as it scrubs through each piece of media. So some of them are 10 times, some are 5 times, some are 2 times, some are normal speed. So for now, if I put into full screen, Command F, I can just sit back and let that play through, and I can just watch the whole timeline being played and fast forward. And it'll just give me an idea of the shoot. If I just want to write down some ideas or just get an idea of how the shoot went or the shots, or maybe I'll sort of see things that I missed when I was filming. This is a great way just to preview everything super fast. DaVinci will do the hard work where it'll play the longer clips quicker for you. So you can see here, we've got a full screen mode. Command F, come off that one. Let's bring a few more clips onto our timeline here. So let's say let's bring this one in, and then bring one more. Let's bring this one in here. So we can just bring it in. And you can see when we're dragging in clips, we can drag them here on the top timeline or the bottom. We just go along the menu here, point of interest. So I don't really use this, but I guess you can add point of interest. This function is for voiceover. So if I hit load script file, okay, so this has to be a plain text file. So .txt, and you can actually make these in your text edit app on the Mac. So I've imported the script. I've got the media in my timeline. Hello, welcome to our travel vlog series. Today we're exploring the streets of Tokyo, blah, blah, blah. You have to clear the script after you've done that. So here we have tools where we can start to manipulate and edit the footage. So this one, we have transform. We can zoom in. So this is basically the same functionality we had here in our inspector, but we can do it directly on top of the video, which just makes it a little bit quicker, a little bit more convenient. We've got cropping, same thing, crop in, crop up. You'll see as I make changes here, it's making the changes in the inspector as well. You know, you've got more space as well if you don't want to use the inspector and we don't want to have the media pull. We've got dynamic zoom, which is quite a nice feature. The green box is the start frame and the red box is the end frame. So that's the dynamic zoom. If I play it back, you can see it just punches in and it just replicates that camera movement of like a gimbal shot moving forward. We have a few options for dynamic zoom. We've got the preset, this one where it's going to start on the right side and move left. So let's watch that back. So we're panning from right to left. We can also swap it. So we can swap where it starts and ends. So instead of going from right to left, now we're going from left to right. This one, so that's an angle preset. So we're going to start at the top right and we're going to zoom to the bottom left. Let's have a look there. So you can see we've got all these presets and we can also adjust them manually. So if we want to sort of make it less of a move, maybe we want to start there. We'll just flip it around. Maybe we want to start on the left here and then finish off with her face in the frame. So you can see now we can just replicate all these different camera movements, all these camera movements that we may not have actually shot, you know, on the shoot, but in post we want to replicate those movements. And then here we've got our functionality to ease it in or ease it out or ease in and out. So this just smooths the transition on the dynamic zoom. Next, we have got, again, our composite mode. Okay, so say we've got our film overlay. So you can see that we've brought in this film, this Super 8 film overlay. Let's just increase the size. We can change the composite mode here. So if I want to, let's say, lighten. So you can see we've got our film, our Super 8 over the top, but we've changed the composite mode to lighten, and you can see the effect that it's having rather than being, you know, covering the screen completely like this. We can lighten and now we can still get that effect, but it's just changed how it's blending with our main piece of media. Let's just disable that one. We've got some retiming features and this is our stabilization. So let me just turn off the dynamic zoom a second. So we can, at any point, we can reset here or we can turn it off here. We can quickly stabilize the shot, and especially if you're shooting handheld, you can smooth it out, and there's different ways to smooth your shots here. Okay, so this is the lens correction. We can analyze the clip and then we can correct the lens if we're using something wide. This is the auto color. Now I don't really use it that much, but if I press this, see DaVinci's gonna try and color it, but because I've got my, let's turn this off a second. Oh, let's turn off our conversion lit. Go back. Let's see how DaVinci colors it. So it doesn't do too bad of a job. It's kind of just correcting it, correcting the log footage and doing the auto color. So that's before and after. Not too bad. Let's see how the LUT looks. So if I just go back, timeline, turn it on. It actually didn't do too bad of a job, but I like the conversion with the actual S-Log Direct 709 Sony LUT. Looks a bit nicer. Okay, next we've got the audio. So we can turn the volume down, volume up. So you've got a lot of room to bring media into the cut tab and, you know, start to manipulate it. You can stabilize it, you can cut it. There's a lot of functionality just within the cut tab alone. And this is before you even get into the edit tab as well. So, you know, it's a good place to start. I'd suggest taking the time to understand the cut page, get used to the interface, and you'll start to see with time how much quicker your workflow will become. Okay, let's keep going. So let's bring in some more media into our timeline. If I come up here to the top, we have some transitions. So let's say I want to bring this transition here. You can see that DaVinci is not letting me bring the transition. It's going red. And this is because there's no more room at the end of this clip and no more room at the beginning of this clip for DaVinci to create the transition. All right, so let's just trim this back then. So I'll just trim it to the left and then I'll trim this one to the right. So now we're giving DaVinci some room at the end of this clip and some room at the beginning of this clip. So say I want to bring in, let's pick something, this triangle transition. Now we can pull it on top. And if I just press play, there you go. A lovely, a lovely transition. And we can speed it up and slow it down. So you see now we're coming to the hard stops of the clip, just coming to the same problem there as we had before. So let's just play it. Wow. It's there we go. And then we've got all other types of transitions, you know, and the good thing about it is like once you start getting into DaVinci, it's just all about experimenting. Like for example, it's got a lot of built-in, and these are all available in the free version of DaVinci. There are some features that won't be available, but the majority of things just when you're getting started out will be available. And you can see here, we can preview what's going to happen. Elastic rubber, edgy, drop warp. So we got all these crazy things happening here, but it's just like get in and experiment, and you know, you'll find things like got this like crazy effects. So it's actually fun to play around, and we can do this all within the cut tab. So a lot of powerful features in the transitions window, and that's just the video. We have our audio transitions. So we got some crossfades. And then also if you've got some effects that you use regularly, for example, like say you're using the smooth cut, and let's say if we've got some zoom in, for example, if I'm using those regularly, I can just star them on the right side here and they'll go into my favorites. So that's great if you're reusing certain effects over and over. Let's jump across. We've got titles here. So we can add text directly onto our timeline here. We can let's add something a bit more fun, the circus text. So we can add text directly onto our timeline in the cut page. We can expand up and down. And if I go to the inspector here, it'll bring us up this menu where we can now change the font. You know, we can change the size of this one, how it's tracking, and all these different features right within DaVinci. You can change the color. So let's just play it back. So now we've got our text layer, which looks a bit crazy, but you know, we can add in, say we just want some plain text. We got this one. So if I open the text layer, open the inspector, let's just say cliff shoot, and then you know, we can change the font. Let's change it to this one. We can make the size bigger. We can change the color. Let's change it to red or orange, something nice, maybe blue. We can change the tracking. So we've got all these features and functionality right within the cut tab. Let's just delete that one. And then we also have effects. So the effects, fusion transitions. And then on the right side here, after the titles, we have some effects. So you can see if you just hover over the effects, you get this preview of what it's going to look like. So we got some cool stuff. So you can add borders to your video, and I actually did a whole video on custom borders in DaVinci. So you can check that out here. I'll show you how to make borders in the Edit tab, in the Fusion tab, and you just have a bit more control over how they look on your video. So let's just delete that. I suggest that you play around and get familiar with the cut tab. In the next video, I'm going to show you the real power of it. So now that you're familiar with the interface, you kind of know where everything is. I'll set you up with shortcuts, and then I'll take you through some live examples of me cutting through footage in a real project. So you'll sort of see the speed that you can work, making your cuts, making your selects really, really fast. That basically means when you're set up for to complete the full edit, you can easily just jump into the Edit tab. Everything that you do in the Cut tab will be reflected here in your Edit tab, and then you can get really into the detail of the edit. So the Cut tab's a great place to start if you just want to get through the footage quickly, review everything really fast, make cuts, make selects, and then, say you come back to the project tomorrow, you can, tonight you can go through your Cut tab, you can make all your selects, make your cuts, preview the footage, get familiar with your footage. And then when you come back to DaVinci in the morning, you can jump straight into the Edit tab and, finalize your edit super quick. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video for a live demonstration of the Cut tab.